Welcome to Well Body. I'm Renee, your host, and this is the podcast for everything your body needs as a woman to become healthier and fitter effortlessly. Here, we're all about feeling energized, beautiful, strong, and going from zero to thriving. Let's ditch the Fitspo diet culture once and for all and start living your best life with methods that actually make real lasting changes. It's time to embrace the journey to a well body holistically. Let's dive in together. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Well Body podcast, where we teach you how to live a healthier, fitter life effortlessly. Today's episode is all about meal prep, and trust me, it is a game changer. Whether your goal is better energy or balanced hormones or fat loss or just staying on track with a busy schedule and making sure you're getting nourishing meals in between being so busy, meal prep can simplify your life and set you up for success. So I'll be sharing my top tips today for keeping meal prep simple and easy, how to use recipes as a flexible guide instead of feeling restricted by meal plans, and how to build balanced plates. I'll also break down why meal prep is essential for achieving your health goals. So grab a coffee or a cacao or a tea or your favorite drink and let's dive in. All right, so why does meal prep matter? Meal prep isn't just about saving time during the week. It's actually an investment in your energy, your health, and your results. And if you start viewing meal prep as an investment in yourself, you're more likely to show up. But if you view it as something I'm doing just to, lose weight because, I'm not feeling good within myself and I hate my body and I hate myself, then you have this negative attachment to why you should be doing meal prep. But if you change the reason why you're doing your meal prep to something more positive and uplifting, like you're doing it as an investment in your energy, your health, and your results, then you're more likely to show up and do it. So here are key reasons why your meal prep is essential. Number one, better energy levels. When you have nourishing, balanced meals ready to go, you're less likely to rely on quick fixes like sugary snacks or caffeine to get you through the day. Balanced meals will fuel your body steadily as well, so you're going to avoid those energy crashes. If you wake up in the morning and you have a coffee and then you grab a piece of bread and you carry on for the rest of your day, do you think you're going to feel energized, and do you think you're going to feel as though you can get through the morning without having a panic attack? Probably not. So I encourage you to remember that when we eat to fuel our body and have a nourishing, balanced meal so that we feel energized, we're investing in our health and we're investing in better energy levels. And when we have better energy levels, our life output is so much better. We're going to be more productive, more proactive. Life is just better when we meal prep because we're getting the energy we need to thrive, right? All right, so number two is balanced hormones. So what you eat plays a massive role in hormone health. By prepping meals, you can ensure that you're getting enough of the right nutrients like healthy fats, enough fiber, and protein, which are crucial for hormone balance. Okay? Now, if you're unsure as to what carbohydrates, fats, and fiber and protein are, then I highly suggest that you reach out and get a program from me so I can help you with that, because it is so important to see this journey as an investment in yourself and your well-being so you know what to do for the rest of your life. That's the way I see it anyway. All right, moving on. Why does it matter? Well, consistency. It's so much easier to stick to your goals when you've planned ahead. Meal prep removes decision fatigue and helps you to avoid impulsive choices when you're hungry or stressed. If you know you've got things prepped in your fridge, you're more likely to stay on track with this healthy, nourishing lifestyle you're so excited to live because it's helping you to thrive and you're investing in your future self. Okay, so when you've got healthy snacks prepped on hand, when you've got meals made and they're all in the fridge, you know that you've got it there. So if you're feeling stressed and hungry and picky, you can just go straight to your fridge and grab something, which is going to stop you from going down the road and going, oh, what do I buy? What do I buy? Oh, well, I'm just going to have that cinnamon brioche on an empty stomach, which is going to then send my blood sugar levels through the roof and then I'm going to crash. Okay, so just remember that the meal prep is going to help you stay consistent because it removes the decision fatigue, which is a psychological phenomenon. There are a lot of people out there suffering with decision fatigue because they are making all the decisions in their household. They're making all the decisions at work. They're making all the decisions with their kids. And so when they have to make the decision as to what everyone eats, it adds another load. And then we're anxious and overwhelmed. So let's try and avoid decision fatigue by prepping ahead of time and investing in our future selves. Okay? And then number 4, meal prep actually saves you time and money. Let's face it. Eating out or buying pre-packaged meals adds up. I really don't understand this whole eating healthy is expensive thing. Yes, initially buying some of the ingredients can be expensive, especially if you're not eating seasonal. But the first thing to kind of go if you're trying to save money, in my eyes, would be eating out, because that's expensive. And if you're going to even just get, like, let's say Hell's Pizza, for example, if you're a Kiwi, right? And you have Hell's Pizza around, and let's say you've got a family of 4, you're going to spend easy $65 to $75 on some pizzas and stuff for your family. Whereas that money could buy you 5 packets of meat that you could put with 5 meals, even more. So I think we've got to start changing our tune around healthy food being expensive. If you're eating seasonal and you're eating enough nourishing food, you're going to feel less snacky, which means you're going to probably just eat less in general, which is going to also bring the cost down. What actually adds up is buying all those snacks and buying all those things in boxes and whatnot that only have five items in the box. All of those protein bars, all of those things all add up. But if you're eating fruit, vegetables, lean proteins, and doing a little bit of home baking, you're saving so much money and time later on. So you're also saving time because you're not going out, ordering the food, waiting for it, not to mention the decision on what to have, another decision you have to make, not to mention the decisions you've got to make as a family going, where do we go, what do we want, who wants what. You know, if you have moments like that where you can't be bothered cooking and there's no one knows what they want, just have eggs on toast, have baked beans on toast, have a bowl of oatmeal, have a smoothie. Like, dinner doesn't always have to be something that is like cooked like a roast chicken with vegetables, you know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be a big event. Sometimes we just need to make dinner simple. Last night for dinner, we had slow cooked beef. I made a beef bone broth stew, which was so beautiful and nourishing for the gut. And I put that on in the morning and we just had it with some crispy baby potatoes. And that was enough. The bone broth had so much nutrients in it that I didn't feel the need I needed a whole lot of vegetables to go with it. So we enjoyed the stew with some yummy crispy potatoes that we baked in the oven, drizzled in some avocado oil, boil them first, squash them down so they go nice and crispy, like simple. And we'll have that again because there's so much left. And I'm not even sad about it because it's delicious and nourishing and I don't have to make another decision tonight. And then Friday in my house is get your own Friday because kitchen's closed. Kitchen's closed Friday night. It's get your own. My kids are young, yes, so obviously I will help them. But my 7-year-old, she'll be like, what's for dinner? I'm like, no, tonight it's just get your own. What do you want? Eggs, baked beans? Do you want a smoothie bowl? Like, what do you want? I'm not cooking anything. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll just have some eggs on toast then. Doesn't matter. Like, we need to just, we're not superheroes. We don't have to have an incredible meal cooked for our family at the dinner table 7 days a week. We need to just cut ourselves a bit of slack. Women are making too many decisions and are too overwhelmed as it is with day-to-day life. Have 1 day a week where it's get your own, especially if you've got older kids, okay? Okay, so here are some tips for keeping meal prep simple and easy. If you ever felt overwhelmed by meal prep, you're definitely not alone. A lot of people struggle with it at the start. Like anything new that you start, it's always going to be hard, right? But you have to get through the hard to come out the other side, knowing that it's something you can manage. We have to build up that capacity within our bodies, within our nervous systems to be able to do the meal prep, to be able to do anything. When you start a fitness journey, don't expect yourself to be able to do 7 sessions a week like that. You have not built the capacity to be able to do that yet. You've barely done 1 session a week. So why would you do 7? Not that I encourage training every day of the week because your body does need rest and recovery and your muscles are built when you're sleeping, not when you're in the gym. Okay. So if you're trying to overload yourself with creating like 7 different pre-made meals and spending 5 hours on a Sunday meal prepping, you have not really built the capacity for even just prepping 1 meal yet. So start small. Don't try and prep every single meal for the week. Start with 1 or 2 meals a day, like breakfast and lunch. And whether or not your breakfast you cook in the morning, it's just having all the ingredients there ready for you to go so it's quicker. Or with lunches, you've pre-cooked a whole lot of protein, okay, which is my next tip, by the way, and you've made a big salad that lasts you 2 days. That kind of meal prep goes a long way and really does help you to stay on track. Which brings me to tip number 2, and that's batch cooking. So make large portions of versatile staples like roasted veggies, grilled chicken, grilled steak, fish, or quinoa, because these can all be mixed and matched into different meals, making it more exciting. Even a big batch made salad, you can make a seasonal vegetable salad and it can be delicious. You can add some feta to it to bulk it up, to add a bit more flavor. You can add some seeds to it. You can make it exciting. Just make it how you enjoy it. Don't feel as though your salad has to just be plain lettuce and then eat the meat on the side. Like make your food exciting. Eat the rainbow, okay? So batch cooking is probably going to be the most, effective way for you to be meal prepping and keeping it easy. Step number 3 is just using time wisely. So prep while you're already cooking dinner. Rather than setting aside an extra 2 hours, go, okay, well, I'm cooking dinner now, so why don't I chop some extra vegetables, boil some extra rice, bake a few extra pieces of chicken, put a crock pot on while I'm making this other meal. I'm going to double batch the dinner I'm making tonight so we can have it again tomorrow. So use your time wisely so that you're not adding more to your load. For example, my meal prep days are a Sunday and a Wednesday. Sunday, I will cook dinner for Sunday night, but it also gives us Monday night dinner as well, because I don't want to be cooking after a Monday. Monday is my day to kind of like put my head down, get everything organized, get some solid workflow done. I don't really want to be finishing my day having to cook for everyone. Knowing that dinner's already done and it's in the fridge means we can all go out for a family walk, enjoy some family time, and then come home and dinner's already done. So by investing my time wisely, by making a double batch of dinner on a Sunday, and then on the side I'm putting on a crock pot with my protein choice for that week. The last 2 weeks it's been chicken. This coming week it's going to be beef, because I'm coming into my luteal phase of my cycle and I'm going to need more iron. And my body naturally is craving that. And I feel like when you listen to what your body really genuinely wants when it comes to whole foods, it's generally a sign that's what your body needs in terms of minerals and vitamins and all those beautiful nutrients. So just use your time wisely. And then on a Wednesday, for example, I'll put a crock pot on in the morning so that the protein's done. And then we'll either make a salad or roast some veggies to go with whatever I've put in the crock pot. And that crock pot meal will sometimes do us for Thursday as well. And if it doesn't, then I'm more than happy to make just homemade healthy burgers or a homemade pizza or just something easy with the leftover protein that I've cooked in the crock pot. So think about ways that you can make it easy to stay on track with your nutrition by prepping and using your time wisely, okay? We do not need to do what our parents probably did, and that was, what's for dinner? Oh, I'm going to cook something every night. And then we watched our mums be stressed and overwhelmed because she had to cook for our dads and make sure that dinner was on the table by the time they got home. Moving away from that, okay? This is the new age woman. She is wild, she is powerful, and she does not spend every single night cooking for someone just because they need food on the table when they come home. She is just as busy and just as hardworking as that other person in the relationship. Now, I don't want to just single out men and women, because there could be women that are like that, in all fairness. Men probably have more capacity to be able to cook a bit more during the week than women do, because women have a lot of different hormones changing in their cycles monthly. Men don't. So don't be afraid to communicate with your other half, whether that's, your husband, your wife, whatever, and just say, hey, look, I haven't got the capacity for meal prepping today. I need you to help me. Oh, I need you to do this. Like, communicate. Have some authority. You are allowed. All right, moving to the next tip, which is investing in storage. So good containers can actually make all the difference, because you're more inclined to have the storage to store the food that you're making. I highly recommend that you use glass. It's healthier to have your food stored in glass than plastic. We now, as humans, consume nearly a credit card size of microplastics in a week. So microplastics can be in our food from using plastic chopping boards, eating off plastic plates, having all of our food in plastic, having our food or pre-cooked food sitting in plastic. And this makes a massive difference on your overall health and well-being when you start cooking with glass, eating on ceramic, and cooking with cookware that doesn't have little bits of whatever chipping off onto it, like Teflon pans. if your pan, your nonstick pan, starts to have little bits of it chipping off into your food, that becomes highly toxic. It's fine when it's new, but as soon as it starts to be used, those little bits are going into your food, and that's not good. So I do encourage you to invest in good storage to store your food, and also invest in good cookware that is going to give you longevity. So it might be initially expensive with the upfront cost, like a cast iron pan can be quite expensive, but if you look after that pan, you're going to have it for life. You probably have it, for the next 50 years. Okay, so investing in good cookware that is supporting your overall health and hormones makes a massive difference. Do not buy cheap pans from Kmart. They won't last. You end up buying 5 of them in a year versus one cast iron pan, and you've probably spent more money. So think about investing in quality, and think about what it is that you're cooking on and how is that going to impact your overall health and well-being. Now, some people might think I'm going too far into the depths of it, but there is so much research and evidence on what these things are doing to our overall health and how they have contributed to illnesses, cancer, and things like that. So we do need to start thinking about how we cook and what we could chop our food on, and how we cook our food, how we clean our products, and how we our cookware and how we look after it makes a massive difference to its longevity as well. So I encourage you to think a little bit deep on the storage and cookware and investing in good stuff, because you're more likely to cook when you are using the good stuff to cook. Be really mindful around air fryers too. So I had a Kmart air fryer, and I started noticing after a while it started getting rusty underneath, and so I threw it away, because there's no way I want to be cooking my food with rust. That's toxic. It's leaking God knows what into my food. So you've just got to be mindful about those things, like burning your food, right? You don't want to be eating burnt food because it becomes toxic as well. So think about the good storage to store your food in, and think about how you're cooking your food and what you're cooking your food into, just for, taking it that little step further. And then also for tip number 5, theme your days. So assign themes to each day if you want to make it more fun, if you want to make it a little bit more, exciting for you and your family too, like Taco Tuesday or Stir Fry Friday. And then you have these themes kind of every week, and everyone knows that on Tuesdays it's Taco Tuesday, and it might be beef tacos one week, pulled pork tacos the next week, and on Stir Fry Friday it's beef stir fry one week, chicken stir fry the next week, shrimp stir fry the following week. So you have the same theme for each night on repeat. You just mix it up a little bit. Don't overcomplicate it. Like I said, you don't have to have something different every single day, 7 days a week, every day of the year. That's too much. It's overwhelming. Okay, so there's another thing that we can look at doing if you're not someone who likes the idea of sticking to a meal plan, or you're someone who thinks that meal plans make you feel a little bit restrictive, and I understand that they do, and everyone's so different and everyone's unique. So we actually all have a unique, tailored experience when it comes to our nutrition. I have some of my clients who don't follow a meal plan, they just want to follow recipes. And I have some clients who like a meal plan because they need the structure in their lives. I generally find the ones that don't have kids prefer to have recipes, and they like to have that kind of like structure where they follow Taco Tuesday, Crockpot Wednesday, whatever kind of theme, and they just mix and match it with the different recipes. And some people like that, maybe have a bit more time on their hands because they haven't got kids yet, or, they're single, or they're just, they've got more time to invest in their health and that's their goal. They might prefer the meal plan. So everyone's different, and it's about finding your flow with what works for you. But I would say at the end of the day, a meal plan only goes so far, because eventually my goal as a nutritionist and personal trainer is to see my clients being able to do this on their own intuitively. So having a meal plan at the start is a great idea, and then moving into being flexible with recipe rotations is then like the next thing I'd love to see you move into, to then become intuitive with creating your own food. So, the first tip here is with recipe rotation, and that's having a go-to recipes, let's say 5 to 6 of them that your family or you love, and you rotate with those 5 to 6 recipes. This way you have variety, but you don't feel overwhelmed. So, you might go, for example, homemade pizza, shrimp stir fry, roast chicken, crock pot meal, repeat. And you have those recipes that you rotate through, and you can just be a little bit more flexible with your ingredients. So think of your recipes as guidelines. For example, if a recipe says spinach, swap it for kale or another green that you have on hand. Okay, so keeping your recipes in a rotation, having themes for each day that you have on repeat, and you just change up the ingredients a little bit. This is going to make your life so incredibly easy. Okay, and this is what I recommend you do, especially if the meal plan thing is not for you. Okay, and I understand if it's not. That's okay. There's no one way to do things. There are so many ways to make it work. The next tip would be to make sure that you shop smart as well. So choosing recipes that use overlapping ingredients. If you're buying carrots, find multiple ways to use carrots. Grate carrot in your salad, roast carrot in the oven, finely chop carrot for your stir fry. And this is why eating seasonal veg is probably going to be more efficient, because you can use all that seasonal veg for all your meals, following your recipe as a guide and then manipulating it to suit the seasonal vegetables that you have on hand, because they're going to be cheaper, they're going to be more nutrient dense, they're going to be fresher, they've not probably been imported, so the nutrients is going to be holding into those vegetables a lot more. So that would be my suggestion to help you with staying on track. Okay, so now let's move on to building a balanced plate, because this is really important, right? We want to make sure we know how to build a balanced plate, because at the end of the day, we can be eating, meal prep, but is that meal prep supporting our health? Is that meal prep going to be helping us with sustained energy and hormonal health? If you're having, let's say, fettuccine with a fettuccine sauce and a tiny bit of bacon in it, that is probably not going to be a meal that is going to support your needs, because there's not enough balance on that plate. It's just fettuccine with a sauce and some bacon. Okay, so here's how you can build a balanced plate. Number one is focus on what's your protein source. So aim for a palm-sized portion of protein, like chicken, fish, beef, eggs, or lentils and rice if you're vegetarian. And if you find that protein, that palm-sized protein serving was not quite enough because you felt hungry, then you may need to add another little half of palm size of protein. So that's a way you can be intuitive with your protein. Or for some people, they like to measure out how much protein is on their plate, so they know that they're getting enough for what their body needs. All right. And then when it comes to fiber and carbohydrates, fill a quarter of your plate with complex carbohydrates like sweet potato or quinoa or rice. And then make sure you're adding fiber-rich vegetables too. Okay. Healthy fats, a thumb-sized portion of healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, nuts or seeds. And then vegetables, non-starchy vegetables. Half of your plate should be colourful, filled with non-starchy vegetables. The more variety, the better. So going back to the fiber and carbohydrates, your fiber-rich vegetables are, think of your starchy vegetables, like pumpkin, sweet potato or kumara, turnips. Those types of vegetables are going to be your fiber and carbs, okay? Your fiber-rich vegetables. And then you've got your non-starchy vegetables, which I would love to see on your plate, filling up half of that plate. Really bulk it up. You may think, oh my God, my plate looks so full, but it's filled with amazing nutrients, okay? High volume, low calorie, but who cares? Just put all those veggies on your plate and make your plate look like a mountain, especially if it's all full of non-starchy vegetables and lots of color. And then it's really important to also make sure that you're flavor boosting your food as well. Don't forget about herbs and spices and homemade sauces to keep your meals exciting. There is so much power in using fresh herbs or dried herbs in your food and spices. They have incredible health benefits. There are so many incredibly healthy, nutrient-dense herbs out there. So I encourage you to boost your food with flavors that come from the ground or come from a plant, because the medicinal purposes that we can receive from eating herbs without even realizing it in such a positive way is incredible. So don't forget to flavor your food, but flavor your food with herbs and spices that are on their own. So it's okay every now and again to use those pre-made like seasonings and stuff, but we've got to be really mindful about the ingredients in those. And sometimes they can be quite triggering for people. And what I mean by triggering is they might trigger irritable digestion. They might trigger bloating or just an uncomfortable feeling in your tummy. So what I encourage you to do is make your own herbs and spices, make your own seasonings, because then you know everything that's gone into it and it's going to be a lot better for you. Okay, so I hope this has helped. I really do. Meal prep is a real passion of mine because it's something that I do myself, and it's really transformed my own health and well-being journey over time. I've been meal prepping since I was 19 and it's definitely changed over the years. I used to be quite rigid with my meal prepping, where it was like chicken and veggies. You know, I would make like 8 different containers of chicken and veggies. But that was because I was young and my mindset was different. Now my meal prep suits my lifestyle, as in I have to consider my family and their health and their needs, and I also have to consider, you know, the research and the knowledge that I know and have now, as in, you know, meals just can't be one vegetable and one protein all the time. We need variety, we need to be eating the rainbow, we need nutrients. So keep it exciting. And just remember that consistency is always going to be the secret sauce to you achieving your goals. Meal prep ensures that you're staying consistent even on the busiest days, plus it takes the guesswork out of eating well. By planning ahead, you can align your meals with your fitness goals, with your overall health and well-being goals, you know, whether that's building muscle, losing fat, or simply just maintaining some good solid energy, which I feel like we're all craving right now. Now, before I leave you with this, I also want to just remind you with this bonus tip is that if you find 3 meals a day is not enough for you and you need that little snack, especially on the days that you train, prep your snacks too. Have options like boiled eggs, some veggie sticks with some hummus or some Greek yogurt handy so you're never caught off guard. By having that on hand and having that ready for you to go, then in between your meals, you know you've got something to keep you going. That's also going to help you stay on track with your well-being goals. Okay? So just remember that meal prep does not have to be complicated. By keeping it simple, using recipes flexibly, and building balanced plates, you can create a system that works for your lifestyle and helps you to feel your best. Remember, this isn't about perfection at all. It is about making progress and setting yourself up for success. So if you found this episode helpful, I'd love for you to share it with a friend or maybe leave me a 5-star review. You can also check out my free hormone shopping list guide if you would like to download this to help you with getting started on creating some balanced, nourishing meals using some ingredients that I've suggested. And these ones you'll probably actually enjoy and be surprised to see some of the food on that list. If you liked what you heard, then don't forget to subscribe to my podcast channel. I post a podcast episode every week and sometimes the odd bonus one when I'm feeling inspired. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I am proud of you. The fact that you've listened to this podcast means that you're on a journey and that you've got something that you're wanting to work towards. And hopefully this podcast has given you some golden nuggets to help you work towards that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you next time on the Well Body Podcast. Stay healthy and stay inspired, and I'll see you again soon.